Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the after show of Dig, hit from USA Network, of course. I'm Mindy Thomas, and yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Andrea Fasano.
I like
you can follow me at Andy Fasano. I got caught up in the Mission Impossible movie.
I am so messed up after that episode.
I'm mind blown.
I mean, totally.
Everything was blown. I'm so upset about Golan. Golan. I still can't say his name right.
I mean, how do we not talk about that until later? We have to.
Pfeiffer was such an amazing actor in the show. He was one of my favorite characters.
Well,
that detective and Cohen.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Right up to the very end. Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't even watch that. That was so graphic for me.
I know. You turn your head like, no. I'm just like mouth agape, like, what? Where'd my guy go? He had such an interesting storyline, and I mean, there's no way he comes back from that, right?
Right.
She put a knife in his throat after she knocked him over with the car. I'm so upset, Dig and USA. I'm mad at you because he was just such a good character.
And the director of photography, Gideon Raff tonight, and I mean,
amazing.
Amazing how they went into his pupil and then you see her reflection. Yep. I love that effect.
They did a lot of stuff like that, cinematography-wise and just camera movement-wise that I haven't seen them do before with the peephole too in Gregory Donaldson's room.
Yes.
They pulled back from that, and I thought that was a really, I mean, it just affects you so much more when they have that kind of movement of the camera, and I thought it was awesome.
So true.
Yeah.
So let's just start off with the show open tonight. It was Peter. He had been shot last week, and so we're wondering, okay, that's the same side of his heart, but we found out that the bullet was lodged, and then he has some scar tissue, apparently, that helped him out. And then there was some reason for that scar tissue in another part of his life that we're not completely clear on.
No, I totally forgot where he got the scar tissue from or if he'd been shot before. I mean, I completely forget about that whole thing. But the scene brought it up, and I mean, it saved his life. So we knew he wasn't going anywhere. It's Detective Connelly. He's the main character of the show. But you were wondering how he was going to come back from a shot to the chest.
Right, and unless you're an Essie, and I wouldn't recommend putting a big patch of mud dirt
just mud
on the wound.
This will fix it.
Mud dirt, yeah.
What it is.
It's I think it's the same stuff that he, bathed himself in, those ashes and whatever it was. But okay. So Peter has a part to play, a very significant part to play. He's got this mission impossible is what it's looking like because he's coming back from this recovery. The bullet did not get his heart, so we know he's alive. He's kind of hobbling around. And then he had the mini operation with the veterinarian. That was classic. Yeah, I like that. And I guess
that was Detective Cohen's brother.
Yes. So that was really neat. And then they showed some affection between Emma and Peter at that point because she is nursing his wound. He's got the bloody and, And then he goes and takes a hot shower, although I was thinking, well, he might need a cold shower at that point. Excuse me. Did I say that? I apologize.
Why? That's exactly what happened.
Well, it was a steamy situation because she finds her way back in there.
Into the shower.
Yeah, that was a little bizarre, I have to admit, with her being the person that looks like his daughter.
Yeah.
And that he's a detective. He's not catching on that he could be lured into something why does he believe he can just completely trust her in every single way?
I know, every time too, and I feel like this is the second time that she's tried to lure him and, hit on him. She did it in the pond inside the caves, inside the water, and then she did it again with water. Let's just put that out there. Maybe there's a thing with that. But yeah, I was like, how is he's not even into her? This is weird. It's creepy. He was looking at her like she was his daughter, and now all of a sudden she's hitting on him.
Yeah.
A little weird, a little creepy, and now we know not to trust her. And I called it. I called it last week, and I said that I don't trust her still. I'm glad I...
Right. You knew something was up, and yeah, I didn't feel that she was forthcoming with everything that she knew, and there was something being hidden there. Okay, so then... he calls his wife. After he has these rendezvous, he ends up calling his wife back in the States, and he goes over his memories. He tells her, the first thing he says tonight is, I'm lost. And he really admits that to her because he's gone too far this time, and he knows he's in deep.
Now, is that because he slept with Emma Wilson, though, or is that because the whole situation's just out of control?
Which is pretty crazy.
I mean, that's an out of control thing.
You would use your wife as a sounding board, in a sense, but there's a lot of grief there with Vicky. He was talking about his daughter. He said he remembered being in seminary, and then he said, I knew what God had for us with Vicky. He was remembering, and then he said he was filled with shame and confusion and doubt. Before that, but that she's the reason that he had clarity in his life.
Vicky, the daughter.
Correct.
Yeah. And then clarity, but also she said there was reason that she was born, but then he went on to say, and there's no reason that she's gone. But I still don't get why that affects, it's like it's a nice little character reveal, but it doesn't affect the whole prophecy story. So I'm kind of like, okay, please forgive me for saying this. And she's like gone, let's move on, like kind of deal. But I think he's really grieving still. But it's funny because we don't get those moments from him that often. So it makes me think that it plays into this somehow, but I don't see how. I don't see why. And again, more creepy than that he slept with a girl that reminded him of her.
Well, and then as he's talking to his wife, he starts quoting some scripture. He's in James 1 where it says, do not be concerned about the fiery trial you were in. And then it goes on to say, your adversary, the devil, seeks around like a roaring lion, seeking out who he will destroy. And so he's kind of coming back to some of his biblical roots, as particularly, I believe, because he's been told, you have a purpose in this mission. And I think deep down in his heart, he's trying to get a hold of that.
I think so too. Yeah, it's kind of like, not only what is that, but where, has that been a long time coming? I kind of liked the thing with him and his wife of how they both had the Bible roulette. I thought that was really sweet. That was something that she understood. And if you believe in something or you have like a religious base and you kind of play that game and something like you're always trying to make that whatever scripture apply to your life for the moment. And I think that was a really sweet moment with them too. Even though we still don't know who she is, they're just between him and his wife, it's a little bit rooted there. So I like that.
Right. And it was kind of bizarre that he quit seminary 3 days before he finished.
But it's not bizarre because like she said, you had a girlfriend. You weren't ever doing that. You weren't completing that. You know what I mean? You were lost before that, but you knew, you just didn't want to accept it.
So I am really excited to find out why is he a part of this whole picture. And we're going to find it out in the season finale next week. So, but we'll say more about that in predictions. Detective Golan. Now he really, he starts off the show, we see him, he's climbing out of his trunk. He had spent the night there and he got a tip on the professor, and then he found Peter and Emma having their relationship together. And so he's like, this is not going to end good for you, man. But little did he know it wasn't going to end good for him, is really what had happened. But, well, okay, and then also, so Peter and Golan, they end up teaming up, and they go out to this airport area, basically, and they find the ambassador when she kneels to the little high priest. That was kind of revealing that, okay, this is all coming to fruition. We've got the character Josh meeting the U.S. ambassador, and then the pastor, I guess, was he on that same plane?
Yep, him and Faye.
Yeah, he was on that same plane, but we didn't see him at that point.
Yeah, he had come off first.
Okay.
And then Faye, and they all met, and then the ambassador went to Josh. But, you know, what's really key about that is the fact that Lynn led them there. And Lynn has been somebody who's not been on the detective side. She's been kind of like straight edge and not listening to him with all these keys and clues. And now she sees that he was correct the whole time and all along. And she led them there. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, he knows what's going on as far as there's a lot going on. Just they see that happening and they're like, what is this? Why is the ambassador kneeling down to this kid? So he's still trying to figure it out, but I think he'll get there really quickly, you know?
Yeah, you're right. She did, she let them in on that, and then she was still coming out of that closet, trying to make her way out of the offices, basically. Well, actually, she made her way down to her office at that point. That's right. Lynn, she ended up having a little meeting outside with Liat. And then Lynn requested some of the flying, the airplane.
Manifest.
Yeah. So then she kind of covers her tracks and says, well, this is for the ambassador's protection. And
right.
So that was interesting how Liat you couldn't even trust.
No, and you knew it, but you're just like, what do you do, Lynn? Do you get your own Secret Service and hire bodyguards for yourself? She doesn't even have time. She doesn't know who's going to come after her. She doesn't know that somebody is. And I'm just like scared for her because she's this girl. She's alone. She can't find Peter. She doesn't know where he is. She knows how to contact him, but she doesn't know, hear back from him. So I feel for her, man. And now they just knocked her out. I don't think she's dead, though. I don't think she's dead.
She was clubbed pretty hard by Liat.
And beaten up by the other guys.
It's like, how dare you find my page 3?
Yeah. I love that Liat tried to cover her tracks, too. Like, she knew that she was caught. And then she puts her foot in her mouth again, by saying that the kid is on the plane. And Lynn was like, I didn't tell you there was a kid on the plane.
Yeah, that was really a powerful moment. She bit her tongue, and then she turned and got out of there. And she tries to get out of the building, but it didn't work. And man, she was being cornered. That was really spooky.
Super creepy. Yeah.
She could not get out of there. And she's in a different country. She's in a foreign country to herself, and so she's not like she knows her way around to the back streets and alleyways.
She may, but she just has no one to go to. She has no one to trust.
Right, like where does she go at that point? So she was clubbed, and well, how do you think she and Peter are relating right now? I mean, because Peter's got he's got the wound to the heart, and that's all she knows about him from Golan. Well, they're not relating at all, actually.
No, not at all. I would just like to see in next week's episode if she's even still alive, and if she reunites with him at all by that point. I mean, next week's episode has got to be.
You mean as reunites? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You think
in story.
Right, because they take out just about everybody in this.
They have been, again, super pissed about that, but. I mean, it's just insane, and I like how the stories are coming together finally. You have the meeting at the plane, and then, Rabbi Lev and the ambassador have already met, but now the Essenes all around, and they're all into it, and he says to Avram, I mean, you want to go there?
Yeah, let's go to
my boy Avram. I love him. You know what I love? I love his affection for Red. I love his affection for the heifer that he had to take care of and, just care for, travel with, feed, all this stuff, shelter. And he's like, I'm not going to let you die for any prophecy. I don't care. And what I think is really amazing is how the show has made this cow, this little calf, a character. It's almost like it's an actor in sheep's clothes, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, I just love that. I think that's a really cool thing because they made the cow, they made you care about it as if it's a human doing this role. And so it has a role of its own. And Avram cares for her so much, and he finds out that he can't dissuade them from not killing the cow because it's spray painted. So that's not enough to tarnish it.
Yeah, he kind of makes him look like, not a skunk, but he does the mark where he's not the one. Yeah,
and the rabbi's like, just wash it off, it's fine. And then he's like, damn it, now I got to kill him.
Well, and what did you think? I mean,
I didn't think he was going to kill him. He couldn't kill the Essene, and he thought the Essene was bad. He's not going to kill Rabbi Lev. But the Essene comes in and saves him kind of and says, listen, he's not the person you want to kill. That's not how you're going to end this. And he says, that's why I've been following you. So that made me think that maybe he had something to do with being the high priest and stuff. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just so that Avram would lead him to the person, to Josh.
Yeah, because Avram is about as pure as they get.
I mean, I would think so, and he's older than 13, so we don't know what his life was until he was 13. But that would then mean that Avram has to kill the cow. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
So we'll see about that, but I just really, that whole scene, I love that he's still part of it, because if they would have gotten rid of him, I would have been a little upset. I mean, there's nothing there then. You know, it's just Rabbi Lev and going through with his prophecy.
Yeah, it's a very tender affection that he has toward the cow. And then also Rabbi Lev is like the only one that's not killed. He's the one taking out people right and left. Yeah. It's pretty wicked. It's pretty wicked. But yeah, things heated up back at the airport, or whatever you call it, some type of
hangar.
Hangar, thank you, yes. And yeah, I've been to a hangar before. I've been there. But anyway.
Me too.
Oh. So where was your hangar?
I've been to the Van Nuys one there and Santa Monica.
I went to one, let's see, I was covering a story up in North Los Angeles County at like a B12, or it was for some, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, back on track here, now getting focused again. At the hangar, Andrea saved me with that one.
Yeah.
They all made up.
Did I do that good of a job? I didn't know where we were going.
It's a pastor, an ambassador, and a little priest, Josh, supposedly. And they get in the helicopter and they take off. They're not able to be stopped.
That's the crazy thing, because we don't know where they're headed. I mean, Jehoshaphat is the key, but I don't know what that really means as far as
they're concerned.
Right.
The psycho in the psych ward.
Seriously.
Sorry.
Gregory Donaldson.
Which he may be actually very normal. He may be having some insight to, but the psychiatric institution has drugged him up. And so then the information comes out in weird ways, like all of the balls are burned, carved into his chest. So, yeah, but then Peter knows. He's like, we got to go there and talk to the Donaldson kid. And remember, the guy on the VHS tape was also Donaldson, and so that was the connection there. So they go there, and then he leaves Golan, like by himself with this guy that's going to wake up in 30 minutes, which, hey, I don't know, but if you're drugged up that much and then they turn the on and off switch, I mean, you could go a little psycho.
I thought that too. You could totally... bounce off the walls.
I had a surgery one time, and man, I came back, and I was
raring.
Like,
You're just like in shock then.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you know what kills me? As soon as he said it on the cell phone, I have big news. I know where you're at. You're in danger. Say what it is into the cell phone, people. Like, Lynn did the same thing. Just say it, text it, finish the sentence. Right. Because by that point, who cares if someone's listening? It doesn't matter. It's not going to go on 3 days. You need to take care of your business now. Let him know now.
Did Peter tip off Emma that he was there trying to find out more information from him? Or she just knew that?
I don't think so. I think that she just...
She's tied in with somebody.
Who knows? I'm so mad at her.
Who is she tied in with? I want to know. Oh, well, Margrove, of course. The archeologist that she had a relationship with.
Cohen said that Peter's in danger because Peter went to go see Margrove.
Okay.
In the dig.
Right. But, okay. Yeah, and that's true.
Emma must have known that I have something to say about that.
Oh,
we'll
okay,
say
very
I'll
good.
help you about that.
All right,
okay.
I want to
So
hear
we get
it.
amazing YouTube comments from you guys. I said, not an ignoramus is one of my favorites. Thank you. And so a lot of people have a lot of insight into the show, and it's helped us out a lot at this after show.
So true.
But one of the other favorites is Josh Hart at KNNN391. He writes novels and then puts them on Twitter. First of all, you're a genius for figuring out how to do this. But he tweeted both of us, and one of the things he said about Gregory, or the whole thing's really about him and the chess piece. And he was tuned into Emma last week saying that she was bad news and that she was in on all of it, and he doesn't know how or anything like that, which we still don't know. I think she's tied into Margrove. But he says about the chess piece and Gregory Donaldson a lot of stuff. And I think it's all very relevant. But he thinks that it was Emma who maybe gave the chess piece to Gregory Donaldson because she swiped it from when her and Connelly went to the father, who we're assuming is the father, or the uncle maybe, because it was told today by the old detective that I'm losing names, that Professor Donaldson shot his wife and then himself.
Right, they're making him look like a crazy man.
Right, and then they're saying that Gregory Donaldson obviously is insane because he witnessed that. But he's saying that maybe that Emma gave the chess piece to Gregory to make him think that either the father's alive, or to make him more insane, or to like say, I've got your number, I know what you know, and all of this stuff. So I thought that was really, really cool. And
who's going to believe you that the end of the world is coming?
Yeah, I mean, not even. But there's.
Do you remember Y2K, by the way? And like a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's going to be the end of the world, Y2K."
Yes.
And there was
yes. Yeah. I just feel like you never have an answer like Y2K. It wasn't that intricate, but this is an intricate plan. This is an intricate prophecy. There are many things that need to happen for, the rest of it to be fulfilled, and it's like one step at a time, but they're all coming together finally, and we have the last episode left. And I have to say, for season 2, again, I'm very upset that Detective Cohen will not be around. Let's just leave it out there.
Right, and I hope Lynn will be around.
No.
And I really want to meet the wife.
I really would like to meet the wife.
I don't want her to remain a mystery.
No.
Do you think she's going to come back in?
I don't know, because if Peter has such a role in all of this, maybe she does. I mean, and like I said with the daughter, who knows? But there's so much that I don't know how that can happen next week.
Right.
So if you have any insight on that, you guys tweet us about it.
Well, let's start getting into predictions.
Let's do it.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Let's do it. Do you have any? You have a few. I know you. Up your sleeve, you have a few predictions.
Are you eager? Do you want to share first?
No.
Okay. Well, just the Order of Moriah, the Illuminati prophecy that everyone here on this show seems to be a part of, is very interesting. And I think the Order of Moriah is going to become more clear, with the symbol. In other words, we're going to know what that means. We're going to get some closure.
Oh, that's right. We haven't seen the symbol in a while.
Yeah, because you think of all the artifacts. I mean, do we know exactly what the breastplate does? I mean, it moved that thing down, right?
I think that was it.
And that was it?
Yep, that was its purpose.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a weight thing, and
was that to get deeper in the dig? Excuse me, I'm trying to remember exactly.
And it opened up that whole.
Yeah. Okay. So they got deeper into the dig,
and it still has to do with the dome of the temple,
right,
or the mosque, whatever that is.
Right.
I mean, because there's something going on there, so they're still down there. There's still more to do with the dig and the caves.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, and we're going to find out some of the secret way of the society is going to all be made known next week, and we're going to find out if it's truly the end of the world.
Yeah. I mean, what kills me with all of this is there's one episode left. There are so many people involved that, I mean, I don't think that they'll do it. I don't think they'll kill the cow. I don't think they'll resurrect the temple by the last episode. So what else can happen? Do we just have a lot of fighting back and forth? Do they kill off more people? Is somebody going to kill Joshua? We saw him in his garb with his little crown in the previews for next week. But that all being said, I think that Peter Connelly, as I mentioned before, with knowing his path for his life, I think the same is happening here. And maybe he knows his path. He just doesn't trust his own instincts and his own, he doesn't want to accept it, maybe. His part in all of this. And I think once he accepts it, or somebody gets him to accept it, it'll all come out and unravel for him.
Do you believe he's going to save the day?
Absolutely. I mean, that's all he does. That's all you do, Jason Isaacs.
Well, I
you
mean,
save the day.
He is very, Peter's brilliant in terms of unlocking, the mystery going on, and he was always just right there, following and kind of leading the way, because Golan, he was getting upset that he had to be the follow along, and then Emma was his soft spot, his weak link, his Achilles heel to. So
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about her being so evil?
She's a traitor.
Exactly. Right?
I mean, I just hope that Peter is not completely betrayed. Well, I mean, he's already been betrayed.
He's betrayed, but you hope he's not involved.
In terms of, yeah, she brought him in. She brought him in from the beginning. Now we know. And I want to know who you're connected with. Emma Wilson, by the way, Alison Sudol played brilliantly by, yeah.
And you called it with the glass, that there was just something off about her little, oh yeah, that was where I did this, and that was where I did this when she was captured.
Oh, okay.
That was where I ate, that was where I broke free. You called that.
She has been, very elusive as to who she really is. Who is she really connected with? Why does she know so much? We know she's got a relationship with Margrove, but there's something else deeper. Is she out for the money? Because there's money from the dig, right?
Plus, who knew she was an actual killer? We knew she might be involved, but she's like an actual murderer. Who hit somebody with their car and then just, she didn't even slice his throat. She just put the knife right in it.
Yeah.
That was so miserable. I'm so upset.
Yeah, there's definitely been some graphic nature with
even pulling the bullet out,
and then with Debbie, with the little boy Josh, and
we didn't see her at all this episode.
I couldn't even watch certain parts, but the suspense tonight really was in the stairwell. Lynn, she's going to come to next week, but I think she's going to be tied up, or maybe they're going to try to burn her on fire, alive, or burn her at the stake. What do you got? Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting.
But yeah,
I think she's alive. She's going to be alive too.
I think the cow's a goner. Let me just say.
Oh no!
Yeah, yeah. Old red heifer. We loved you dearly, but you're out of here. And by the way, have you ever eaten certain parts of a cow besides beef, or is that totally?
No,
that's
let's
distasteful.
not go
I'm sorry.
there.
Okay.
And the answer is I don't think so. So let's not.
Let's not say we did. All right, well, this is, again, every episode is just had a different feel, and some of them you feel like, well, I'm just on fire to talk about, and some you're kind of like, where am I?
What happened?
Back to the geometry analogy from earlier in the season, and so anyway, Anne Heche, I really liked her and Jason Isaac's performance tonight. Everybody just seems more locked on.
Agreed.
And so it's. Have you enjoyed how it's been like the 10 episodes? Because next week we'll make 10 episodes. Or have you felt, because on IMDb, I did notice.com, that there's some people that said, well, I would have liked it in more of a mini-series format.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they felt like they were taken through so much. But it's very intellectual. It's unique. It takes a lot to follow it for that long, so I don't know that they're playing to the mainstream.
No. The first 5 episodes. I mean, I can see that, especially when it would be no commercials or something like that. It might work better. I mean, but it's a lot. I said to you tonight, there's still so much to talk about, but I'm remembering even what's happening better now, because in the latter part of the season, because the first part is just so overrun with terminology and religious stuff that it's overwhelming, and for the average viewer I think it's a lot. Maybe that's all out of the way. I just hope it gained viewers throughout, because you do have to keep watching each episode to know what's going on, and I feel like this could definitely have a run, but it takes you a minute to get involved. So I don't know if everyone, if you guys like the show, definitely let us know, because I'd like to see what happens, but I like it now more. I like the second half of the season way better.
Yeah, it's been a lot of anticipation building, a lot of relationships and puzzles along the way. So yeah, I'm totally excited about next week and where they're going to go. I think that Jason somehow, it's going to get down to the wire, because Tad Billingham, he's like, I don't care who they're calling. I don't care if the FBI's involved. He's like, get in the helicopter, it's game on. In 2 days, the show's over.
It's always in 2 or 3 days. In 3 days this, and in 3 days that. When is it really going to happen? First Jehoshaphat, and then Armageddon.
Where are they going in the helicopter?
I don't know.
Do you think they're going to that same desert where the Essenes were?
Maybe.
Or
no,
to
they
the
wouldn't
dig?
fly.
Are they going where the breastplate and the dig?
Yeah, it's probably there. Also, what's in his book that will be undetected? There's something in his book.
Oh, yeah. He's got
I forgot to mention that.
Right, the crates
That's a
full.
prediction. Tell us stories about that.
Yeah, of his book. And apparently, it's going to be the Order of Mariah?
That's a prediction.
The Illuminati. I mean, that's pretty big in Hollywood, right?
Yeah. So I've been told. So, I don't know. That's a huge thing, too. It's a huge question.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great actor. I know. I've really enjoyed this cast. It's going to be
Absolutely.
sort of bittersweet next week because when will you ever see the same cast work again?
Yeah.
So you've got to tune in and season finale.
Maybe dig 2. You never know.
Dig 2.
Maybe.
Dig. Well, they've already kind of said dig deeper.
Yeah.
Digger. Well, we got to get her done next week. That's all I know.
Yes, I'm excited. Can't wait to hear from all of you guys. So let us know what you think. I'm Andrea Fasano. Tweet me at Andy Fasano.
I think we're out of air.
Yeah.
I'm Mindy Thomas, and it's been awesome being with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Tweet us at MindyCharlotte. Tweet Andrea. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Thanks for watching, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.